Hello and welcome. My name is Denise today, and in this video I will be talking about HealthHub. HealthHub is a web application I have developed as my defense project for the C# web developer professional track in the software university. In the first part of this video, I will be talking about the structure of the project, while in the second part we'll be looking at specific functionality and the code behind it in the application. So let's begin. The repo for HealthHub can be found in my GitHub Denitza under my projects HealthHub. HealthHub is a multi-page web application built using the ASP.NET framework, the MVC design pattern, and for this project's UI, I have used a Bootstrap template from bootstrapmade.com. The idea of HealthHub is to be a platform where patients can find doctors, book appointments, and rate their experiences after each appointment. This way, an average score for each doctor is formed, which will also affect the average score of the clinic where this doctor works. We will look at the project from several different perspectives: the role of the admin, the role of the doctor as a guest user, and as a registered patient. Let's look at the project architecture first. This solution consists of 14 projects that are separated into 4 folders. The data folder will be holding the repositories, the migrations, some seeding, where I have done custom seeding in order to populate the database and to be able to demonstrate the functionality of the web application. Going back to the data folder, in the data.common, we have models and repositories. In the models, we have the base model and the base deletable model. A little bit later, I will demonstrate the difference between the use of these two models. Also, for the project, we have used repositories. The use of this iDeletable entity repository will be demonstrated a little bit later in this video. Moving on to the data.model folder, these are all our entities with all the properties and relations to one another. For example, the clinic class has different properties, and here we have medical staff. These are all the doctors that are working in a clinic. So one clinic can have many doctors. However, the business logic is such that one doctor can be working only in one clinic. And here in the doctor class, we can clearly see that where it refers to a specific clinic with the specific clinic ID. Now, if we look at the example with the insurance companies, one clinic can be working with many different insurances, the same way that one insurance can be valid in many different clinics. For this reason, we have created a relation many-to-many, where this is the linking table of these two entities. In the services, there is a datetime parsing service that I have used, and I will demonstrate when booking an appointment, because there is an interactive date and time picker for the appointment, and they come in as strings that later need to be converted to datetime format. We have the services data. These are all the specific services separated in folders as per the entity that they refer to. Looking at the services mapping, here we have the automapper configuration, IMAP to IMAP from end. I have custom mappings. This I will demonstrate with the doctor entity and how we have used IMAP to and the custom mappings in this project. Let's look at the web folder where we have the WW, the areas, the controllers, the different views. And in the areas, for example, I have created an area for the administration and a separate area for the doctor. We will see this when we're looking from the doctor's perspective and the admin perspective, and what are they authorized to do. In the views, we have different views, and we have also used some quite long list of partial views that we're going to also look at. In the view models, we have all our models used for displaying data in the views or to input data from the views. Here, for example, we can look at the doctor view model. And as I have mentioned a little bit earlier, we have used the IMAP from, and I have custom mappings. Now, this doctor's view model is going to display data for the doctors with the specific properties that we have listed here and will be mapped from the doctor entity. However, when we're talking about the rating of the doctor, the relation is a little bit more complicated, and for this reason we need to specifically tell what mappings we're using. So for example, we are taking a doctor, and for this doctor we want to look at his scheduled appointments, and if there is any appointments that have been voted, we take the average vote rating, for the value of the average rating for that vote. And this is how we have created a custom mapping for his rating. Okay, now let's look at the application and its functionality. On the welcome page, we can find the login and register links, and then there is a header with some quick search of doctors and clinics, and a counter for all our doctors, clinics, specialties, and appointments. And for example, we have our top rated doctors here as per the rating they have received from their appointments. Now let's look at the app from the admin perspective. We're going to log in now as admins. Admins can look at appointments, but they cannot interfere with appointments. So this is the list of the appointments that are done, and here there is only an option for looking at details for these appointments. However, they have the right to create and change the data for all these entities such as doctors, clinics, insurances, city areas, specialties, and services. Let's look at the doctors, for example. So these are all the doctors that are registered in the system. And for example, if we want to delete Dr. Caitlin, here we are redirected to a page asking with all the details about that specific doctor and asking us if we're sure we want to delete this doctor. We delete it, and here at the bottom we have another table showing deleted doctors. So Dr. Caitlin has moved from the list of doctors to a list with deleted doctors. Now this is done using the iDeletable entity repository that I have mentioned earlier. And if we go to the code and if we go to the doctor services, here we can see we have injected iDeletable entity repository for doctor. And thanks to that, and because our because our model for the doctor is base deletable model, we have the additional property boolean is deleted, and that's why when we take the repository we can use the all with deleted method and specify that we want to have this property true, and this is the list that we're going to receive here for the deleted doctors. So basically the database still keeps record of the doctors that we have deleted. Now this is just to demonstrate the models that we have mentioned here earlier. The base deletable model that has this additional two properties is deleted, and the deleted on daytime property, and also using the repositories iDeletable entity repository that gives us this option to do a query with all deleted entries in the database. Okay, let's go back to the app. For example, if we want to edit a doctor, for example, Dr. Maya, we want to edit her, let's say, name, like that. and we save. Here in the list we can see her name has been changed already. We can look at details for this doctor. We have a little page with the information, her ratings, and so on. Now let's try to create a new doctor. Now this is the form for creating doctors. If we press create, we can see the validation for the required fields as per the model. Okay, so let's say we want to do test, doctor, male. Okay. Let's say he's gonna work in Alahi Hospital and pediatrics, and he's a junior pediatrician. Okay. Okay, and we create. So, yep, here we have our test doctor with his details. A little image, rating, if any, and information about the doctor. Okay, that was about it for the admin. Now, let's go back to the guest view and talk a little bit more about what a guest can see and do on our app. Guests can select clinic from the drop-down menu in the header or go to all clinics where they can see their location, average rating for the clinic based on the doctor's performance, and also they can see all the doctors that are working in that specific clinic. For example, here we have also our test doctor that we have just created. From the header, guests can also navigate to all doctors where we find a list of all registered doctors in the system. We have also implemented pagination with previous and next buttons in order to make the user experience a little bit better. Now this I will just demonstrate quickly how it's done. Here we have a paging view model. So here we have certain properties like page number, has previous page number, has next page, and so on. The pages count is calculated with math ceiling, so we round to the bigger number of pages, so we catch the last doctors as well. And then we have, if we look at the views in the shared folder, we have the paging partial view, and here we have a little bit more logic about displaying this pagination. So, for example, here we disable the previous and next button, depending whether the property has previous page is true or false. And also here we have put this for cycle in order to be able to show one before and one after button of the current page. So we have one before and one after. Also here, this is for the one after, and also depending whether this is the last page or not, we have next disabled. On the doctors all page, we also have the option for filtering doctors by different criteria such as specialty, city area, insurance, gender, etc. Now, for example, if we want to see doctors in emergency medicine only, we receive this search result. If we want to further filter it and say we want only male doctors, these are the two doctors that we will receive. For example, our insurance covers is Allianz. We want to see who works with insurance. That will be covered by our policy. And here we have this last option. And for example, further on, if we want to change by city area that is close to us and we filter, we get finally the message, no doctors are found by the given criteria. This can be also reset from here. And this filtration is done by doctor's query, and I will demonstrate in the code now. If we go to the doctor's service once again, Okay, here we have taken a query from the doctor's repository as queryable, and the benefit of taking a query rather than just making it to list is that we can apply further filtration based on that, whether we have additional searching criteria. So we apply all these criteria all the way to the end, and finally we take the query and we turn it to list. Going back to our application, another way to find the doctor is by name. For example, we want to find Dr. Mohammed, and these are all the Dr. Mohammeds that we have. Or if we want to book with Dr. Rana. Okay, we have Dr. Rana here, and we want to book an appointment with her. First, book an appointment will lead to an information page about the doctor. We have her rating here and also a bit of details about the specialist. Now, because we are only guest users now, if we click on a book an appointment, it will redirect us to the login page because we have used the authorized attribute so that only registered users of the platform can book appointments. So let's demonstrate that. We have the login page, and let's log in as patient. 456 the usual password, and we log in. We are redirected to the book an appointment page where we have the interactive date picker that we mentioned earlier, and we have already rendered some details about the doctor that we want to book an appointment with. This is done thanks to the view component that we have used in the invoke a sync method. I will quickly demonstrate. So if we go to the views, appointment, book an appointment, here we have component invoke a sync, doctor details, and the model doctor ID. This ID comes from the book appointment button that we have just pressed. But if we look at the components, view components, here we have the doctor details. So we have the invoke a sync method calling that specific doctor by the ID that we have provided. Okay, before we book an appointment, let's look into details how this datetime picker would work. So we go to the code and we go to the controller, appointment controller, and here we have injected the datetime parser service. So we go to the book action, HTTP book, and here we have the input. Now the input comes as a string, as I said, and here we try to, using the datetime parser, we try to convert the input as string and the time, the date and the time as string to a datetime format, which later we pass to the appointment service to add an additional appointment with this date time that we have already converted. Also here we have some validation using validation attributes, which is the date and the time, but we already have filled those fields. And we, for example, we choose initial checkup and we make the appointment. We are redirected with a success message to all my appointments. Here we have due appointments with Dr. Rana is the one that we have just created, where these two are already seeded for demo purposes. And also we have some past appointments that are already seeded as well. Now let's look at the due appointments first. Here we can see, for example, details about appointments. We can see the location of the clinic, the doctor that we have booked for, and what procedure we want to have. Also additional notes which can be edited. For example, we want to edit the notes for the doctor, so when she opens from her site she can see that these notes have been provided by the patient. Okay, the status of the appointments we have requested, we have confirmed. Both can be canceled. For example, we have a modal pop-up here asking us for confirmation. Yes, we want to cancel it, and the appointment is already canceled. Also, another thing we can do is, for example, we can reschedule an appointment. The business logic behind it, so we press reschedule, we are redirected to another page that warns us that the appointment status will become requested until the doctor confirms it once again, if we had a confirmed appointment. So the business logic that I have used for this one is that the appointment will be deleted completely, and we will be redirected to the same doctor to book a new appointment. So yes, reschedule it, and then we are redirected again to with the doctor details rendered, as we have discussed previously. So let's book again an appointment, and here we have once again requested with Dr. Rana another appointment. Now, if we look at the past appointments, we can notice the business logic for rating appointments. The patient can rate completed appointments. Those with status no-show or cancelled cannot be rated. Now, let's rate Dr. Eleni, for example. Let's look at her current rating first. Dr. Eleni. So, if we look at her details, she has no ratings at the moment. We go back to my appointments, and we want to rate an appointment we had previously with her. We go to rate your appointment. Here we say, for example, we want to put 4 stars. Excellent attention to detail. And we rate her. Now, this is already in the system. We are redirected to Dr. Eleni's information page, and here our rating has been reflected already. Now, going back to my appointments, the button for Dr. Eleni has already disappeared, and we have the information that we have already looked and rated this appointment that is showing in the details of the appointment as well. Okay, now let's log in as a doctor to see what it looks like from a doctor's perspective. Okay, so for demo purposes, we have taken the doctor with most appointments, so doctors can see only their appointments. This is the appointment that we have just requested. In this case is Dr. Rana. We have just made a request for an appointment with her, which appears in the due appointments. And we have also past appointments that have been seeded by us also for demo purposes. Looking at the due appointments, for example, we can see the details for this appointment, what patient has booked an appointment, has requested the appointment, for what procedure, and we can confirm or cancel it from here. For example, we want to confirm it. Yes, we confirm. And here already the status has been changed to confirmed or to canceled, where, for example, if something changes in the schedule of the doctor, yes, they can cancel for appointments. And this way, the information will automatically notify the patient that his appointment has been canceled. Now, looking at past appointments, we're going to talk a little bit more about the business logic behind it. So if an appointment has not been confirmed and the due date has passed, then it automatically changes to canceled. If the appointment has been confirmed and the due date has passed, it automatically changes to completed. So once an appointment has been marked as completed, automatically there is an option to rate that appointment for the patient that has booked it. Now, we want to give an option to the doctor if this patient did not show for an appointment, he should not be able to be rating such appointment. So we give an option to the doctor to change the appointment status to no-show to prevent voting, falsely voting for an appointment that did not happen. So this is where we have this no-show button. that is warning us, saying that the doctor will not get any rating for this appointment. We say yes, mark it as no show, and here we already have the status of this specific appointment as no show, and it can no longer be rated by the patient. Okay, so that was all about HealthHub. I hope this video was helpful in order to understand the idea behind it and the logic behind the application. In case of any other questions, feel free to reach out to me. And thank you for watching.